This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Good evening. You've tuned into the headlines now with me, Evelyn Matthew. You're watching Ndtv-Hindu. If you are around the Chepauk zone of the city tonight, well, the World Cup warm-up match has been good enough reason for you to get off your seat and join into the loop of excitement and the fever, as I call it. Our sports reporter Natasha joins us with live updates from outside the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium tonight. But the bigger question sometimes is there anyone to bat for the fishermen in the Indian-Sri Lankan waters? Is the political mileage really making this a case of more than just an isolated one? Professor Surya Narayanan, Senior Research Fellow with the Center for Asian Studies, looks at the possible solutions or even the options that perhaps India is not realizing till today. Before we get you all of that in 30 minutes at the top of 8 tonight, these are the headlines now. CBI grills RCom's top man Anil Ambani for 3 hours at the headquarters, questions as to why he pulled out of Swan Telecom. Meanwhile, Dr. Manmohan Singh defends himself in the Spectrum scam, saying A. Raja assured him of transparent deals.
He said, I have been absolutely transparent in my dealings.
But the DMK remains undeterred by the Prime Minister. The spokesperson of the party admits that the coalition is not holding Dr. Singh back.
He was very clear on his speeches, and I think it has nothing like accusing the coalition or something.
The Prime Minister also reiterates that the centre will have zero tolerance towards the killing of the Indian fishermen in foreign waters.
This sort of behavior is not acceptable among neighborly countries.
A ray of hope is shed over a DMK Congress combined win at the assembly polls in the state. The Prime Minister is hopeful.
Well, I am not an astrologer, but I do hope that the ruling coalition will win.
After the first innings of the World Cup warm-up match in the city, will the men in blue kill the Kiwis like a dead snake? A target of 362 is set. And the magic of the superstar is one that lasts for over 10 years. NDTV crowns Rajinikanth the entertainer of the decade.
So all credit goes to God, so I have to be humble. Thank you.
Let's also bring you the rest of the day's news nationally. Ours is a functioning government despite all the talk of a lame duck Prime Minister, says Manmohan Singh. Pranab Mukherjee meets top BJP leaders Sushma Swaraj and Arun Jaitley to break the House deadlock. The BJP wants a JPC announcement on the 22nd. And Devas threatens strong legal steps if the government doesn't fulfill its obligations under the S-Spectrum agreement. Well, a fortnight ahead of the budget presentation for the year, the Prime Minister of the country today sat down for an interaction with editors of television channels at 7 Racecourse Road today. Taking on the burning topic of the killing of Indian fishermen, Dr. Singh reiterated that the Sri Lankan and the Indian governments were taking it up seriously and has promised action. Here's what the Prime Minister, Dr. Singh, touched on today.
I have been told that 118 fishermen have been taken into custody. We are taking up this matter with the Sri Lankan government. We take a very serious view. I think only earlier this month, Foreign Secretary was sent to make a strong démarche to the Sri Lankan government that this sort of behavior is not acceptable among neighborly countries.
Well, today in the city, a sizable number of DMK members took to the streets protesting the reported arrest of 106 Tamil fishermen by the Sri Lankan authorities. The DMK MPs Kannimuri, TKS Ilangovan and District Secretaries J. Anbaragan, V.S. Babu as well courted arrest along with hundreds of DMK workers.
DMK put up a show of strength at short notice, something they are good at. Only this demonstration was to protest the arrest of 106 fishermen near the residence of the Lankan Deputy High Commissioner.
All over the world there have been issues, but nobody gets shot at, nobody gets humiliated with the way our fishermen get humiliated by and treated so badly by the Sri Lankan Navy. We have raised this issue with the central government time and again, and the central government and the Prime Minister, the ministers have also taken it up with the Sri Lankan government, but obviously there hasn't been any positive results.
By organizing the huge turnout, the DMK also sent a message to the Congress that the DMK cannot be taken for granted, especially when speculation is rife that the Congress may demand a share of power if the DMK-Congress combine emerges victorious in the upcoming assembly elections.
நரம்பு தோழர்கள் 10,000 பேருக்கு மேலாக இதில் கலந்து கொண்டார்கள். 5,000 பேர் கைது செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கிறோம். எல்லோரும் கைது செய்ய முடியாமல் வாகனங்கள் இல்லாதனால் ஸ்தம்பித்து போயிருந்ததெல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்க. இது கூட நள்ளிரவு 12 மணிக்கு மேலே தான் எங்களுக்கு வந்து தலைவர் கலைஞர் அவர்கள் செய்திகளை வந்து சொல்ல சொல்லியிருந்தார். விடியற்காலை 6 மணிக்கு மேலே தான் இந்த செய்திகளை கேட்டு மிக வேகமாக ஒரு கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 5-6 மணி நேரத்தில் இவ்வளோ பேர் கூடியிருக்கிறோம்.
The ruling DMK's big show in defense of Tamil fishermen has come ahead of assembly elections in the state. The DMK's efforts may be also an attempt to preempt the opposition from taking up this issue. In Chennai, Peer Mohammed, NDTV-Hindu.
Joining me on the headlines now tonight is Professor V. Suryanarayanan, Senior Research Fellow with the Center for Asia Studies. Good evening. Welcome to our studios. First off, I'm going to ask you about whether you think this is an issue that's more political than anything else, with the DMK today jumping the bandwagon and making that protest over there outside the Sri Lankan consulate today.
The competitive politics of Tamil Nadu is becoming more and more visible as the elections are coming. And in the days to come, the blame game. DMK accusing the AIDMK and the AIDMK accusing the DMK will be further echoed in the media as well as in the speeches.
So this is just another campaign and doesn't really mean anything for the politicians, do you suggest?
One wants to score over the other, so the blame game is there. But in that process, one stark reality in the Sri Lankan situation is being forgotten. The Indian fishermen go very deep into the Sri Lankan waters. They will go very near the seashore. And the Sri Lankan Tamil fishermen who have resumed fishing after the war is over, they find the presence of Indian Tamil fishermen near their shores to be a hindrance to their livelihood. This reality, unfortunately, has not been realized by the Tamil Nadu politicians. And unless one recognizes the reality and also realizes the fact that the Sri Lankan Tamil fishermen also owe their livelihood, there cannot be any solution to this problem. I happened to be in Sri Lanka about a fortnight ago. I had the opportunity to visit all the fishing villages. And the Sri Lankan Tamil fishermen were unanimous that the presence of the Indian Tamil fishermen in their waters very close to their villages is a hindrance to their livelihood. In fact, they wanted to demonstrate before the Indian consulate, which newly started in Jaffna. But Douglas Devananda, who is a cabinet minister, dissuaded them, telling them that he will find a peaceful solution. That has not taken place. And the cumulative effect of this is, yesterday, the fishermen have not been detained by the Sri Lankan Navy. They have been detained by the Sri Lankan Tamil fishermen.
Right.
And they have been handed over to the Point Pedro police station.
Right. Now, why do you suggest that perhaps the Sri Lankan fishermen's livelihood here is at stake? Do you believe that there is a lack of awareness among the Indian fishermen, because they are in some, as some reports suggest, abducted, some of them even were killed in the last few months. So is the message really not going out clear, loud and clear, or is there an awareness that's really not prevalent here?
What has happened is that due to the use of the trawlers which were introduced in the late 1960s, the trawlers take away everything from the seabed, including the seeds.
Yes.
So virtually there is no fish on the Indian side. So the Indian fishermen, if they want fish, they have to get into Sri Lankan waters. What the Sri Lankan fishermen are saying is that if trawling goes on in their area, there will be no fish within a couple of years. So basic fact is that trawling has to be discontinued. There was an agreement from among the fishermen on the both sides in August 2010, where for the first time the Indian representatives of the fishermen agreed that trawling will be stopped within 1 year. they agreed that it is necessary to phase out the trawlers. Unfortunately, that agreement was not backed by the two governments, and our own fishermen started going deep into the Sri Lankan waters.
Right. Do you also believe then that, maybe international laws are perhaps something that can resolve this issue then and maybe lay out some more options?
See, if you look historically, this concept of maritime boundary is something post-independence. Otherwise, fishermen used to go wherever there is fish. Just as the fish go, the fishermen also used to go.
Right.
There have been movement of people on both sides of the Park Bay and all. The only way by which a solution can be found to this problem is to look at the Park Bay not as a contested territory, but as common heritage. It belongs to both. And let there be a Park Bay authority to determine what is a sustainable catch, what type of fishing equipments can be used, how can the catch be equitably shared, and what is more, let the two fishermen join together for deep sea fishing in the high seas, because we are not taught in those lines.
Right.
Because the only way by which this problem can be solved is to look at it not as a contested territory, but as common heritage.
Right. So clearly this needs a deeper understanding by even the delegation that keeps going to the island nation, and from both sides, an agreement and understanding more than anything else, a deep analysis into what really looks like it is from the surface, but lots more to be really studied. Thanks very much indeed, Mr. Suryanarayanan, for joining us on the show tonight and throwing light on this issue. This is Headlines Now. Still ahead on the bulletin. One of the Ambani brothers makes a guest appearance in the 2G scams probe. What lies beneath this gamble? Stay tuned to find out.